Let's see if that's better. Okay, so this is called the sliding gift card holder fun fold tutorial. It's also a treat holder. So whether it's a treat or a gift card holder, this is going to be perfect for you. All right, my friends, so are you ready to see today's project? It's the sliding gift card holder. This is my Halloween version, and I think it's pretty fun. I'm going to share with you what I'm using. I'm actually using a couple of different stamp sets and dies on it. When you open up, your treat is going to slide open right there. And okay, so this one has a Kit Kat. It's one of the flat treats, or you could easily slide in also the gift card. So there you go. Either a treat or a gift card, and it slides right up in presentation. I've shared with you the template in the past. I'm going to walk you through step by step, and I'm going to share with you what I'm using. Do you see the little witchy's veil there? Yeah, I had fun with it. And what I like about it too is I am pairing it with this stamp set with a Halloween stamp set, but you could totally use it on almost any, or use it with almost any stamp set. So the one I'm focusing on today is called By My Side, and this is a year-round stamp set. It's got these sweet little young ones, a boy, a girl with the curly, and a girl with the straight, and lots of really sweet friendship sentiments. So this is an example of a perfect stamp set. I love the images and I love the sentiments that pair nicely together. And I have paired it with the Bewitching bundle, which is a stamp set and punch. And I'm looking around for my punch. I like that it has a punch. I love a bundle with a punch. However, this stamp set has no sentiments, which gives you a lot of latitude in creating, but it also creates a little bit of a challenge. So what do you think? And I love the little characters in the By My Side. I love the little girl with the straight hair, the curly hair, and the little guy with the puppy dog. It's really, really a sweet stamp set. And I think it's only like $22, so it's perfect to add to your collection. All right, my friends, let me share with you what we will need. We are starting off with our cardstock, and I'm using the In Color Parakeet Party. I've got a 4 1/4 by 11 inch cut, and I've also got a 7 by 3 1/4 inch cut. Let me make sure I'm giving you the right measurements. Right, 3 1/4 by 7. So again, if you'd like this step-by-step tutorial, just place an order. Otherwise, you're free to write down everything as I share with you. I'm also going to be using some DSP, and I'm using this gingham that comes in a great pack. It is from the Holiday Mini, and this paper pack is called Gingham Cottage 12 by 12 Designer Series DSP. Now, what I love about this is look at all that gingham, and you've got lots of options. You've got Real Red, Blushing Bride, Pumpkin Pie, Garden Green, Mint Macaron, and Basic Black. So those are great colors for creating lots of different backgrounds for fall and Christmas, and anytime actually. Valentine's is coming up. You could easily use the Blushing Bride and the Real Red for Valentine's Day. It's a really great pack of paper, and it has a lot of paper. It's 48 sheets, 4 of the 12 different designs, different kinds of gingham. We also need a couple of die cuts, and I pre-cut these so that you don't have to watch me crank these through. So first of all, I am using the Scalloped Contours dies. These are a staple in my craft room, and I'm using the largest scallop without the eyelet edging. That measures 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. I'm also using a rectangular stitched framelit, and this offers lots of different rectangles in all kinds of sizes. and configuration. So we've got long, narrow, and we've got the wider card size almost. The one I'm using is 2 3/4 by 4 1/8. And I've got my die cut in basic white as well. And I'm also pulling one of the narrow label die cuts. This one measures about 5/8 by 2 5/8, and also in basic white. One last thing, I've got a couple of scraps in basic white for stamping and punching, and then I've got a scrap in the Parakeet Party for stamping. My accessories I'm going to share with you as I go along. They are fun, and they are one in the holiday catalog and one in the main catalog. Both things that you can use on lots of different projects. So we're going to start off by scoring, and I'm taking my 4 1/4 by 11" paper, and I'm going to use my Stampin' Trim. I'm going to use the scoring blade, which is the lighter blade. And if you're like me, you want to push that cutting blade out of the way right away so that you don't cut. My score lines are going to be at 2 inches. So let me move that just a tiny bit. 2 inches. And I just butt that right up to the edge, and I've got my scoring blade. Now, one of the tips I want to give you on the trimmer, sometimes we think we need a new blade when actually all we need is to clean the track. So to clean the track, here's what I like to do. Just take a piece of cardstock, and I'm going to take that little scrap I have and run it down the track. So just take the little corner of this cardstock, fit it right into the track, and push all of that debris out of the track. And that is going to make a big difference in a clean cut for you. You might just need a new blade, but it's always great to clean the track before you jump to conclusions. So I just cleaned my track. I'm going to score at 2. And I've got my 2 right at the top. I'm going to score down. And then I'm also going to score at 7 1/2. So push it right up to 7 1/2 and score down. Now, oops, I'm going to do that again. I didn't press quite hard enough. There we go, 7 1/2. On the other cardstock, which measures 3 1/4 by 7, I am going to score at 2. And then again at 6 1/2. So I have just a little 1/2 inch tab that we're going to need. Okay, so there's that. The other thing I want to do is I'm going to take my designer series paper. I've got 2 different pieces. One measures 4 inches by 5 1/4, and we're actually going to trim this down. I'm going to cut it on the long side, and I'm going to cut one piece at 3 3/8. So that might be a little bit tricky. I'm going to look on my trimmer, and I'm going to go just over the 1/4 inch mark and then move it up 2 of the tiny hashes to 3/8, and I'm going to cut. And then the second piece, it should be 1 7/8. And just like, I'm just checking it. Yep, that's what it is. So I'm going to put those aside. I'm going to take my second DSP, which measures 3 inches by 6 1/8, and I'm going to cut it on the long side at 4 1/4, which is an easier mark. Just there's 4, and then the next longer one is going to be 1/4. So it's actually what, 1, 2, 3, 4 marks over. Those are the 16ths, and those are not a friendly measurement, I know. We're going to cut this. And the second piece should measure 1 7/8 without us even cutting. So there it is right there. So we need that as well. And then we're done cutting with the paper trimmer, and we're done scoring. Let's put the card base together. And I like to do that before I start losing pieces. So the first thing I'm going to do is fold my card base, and I'm going to fold in at the bottom. It's almost like a foot. And then I'm going to take the top flap, and it's going to be abutted right to the edge there, and we're going to fold or burnish flat. And this is kind of like standard card size. It's just going to open up at the top like so. All right, we are going to adhere our DSP, and you could use any flat adhesive. You could use Tombow, you could use your Snail, your Snail Plus. So any of those will work. I'm looking, I've already scrambled these around. Okay, so I've got my 4-inch wide DSP. And the reason I'm trying to pair them up again is because the pattern should match if I haven't flipped them yet. And it looks like I already did start flipping everything. And I don't like that. It's not critical. You want to try and match up the pattern, but it's not a big deal because your focal point art is going to be covering it anyway. So I'm going to start off by adhering the smaller strip. And you know what, I'm going to switch this up a little bit. We're going to take a vote afterwards. So I'm going to flip this to just the standard gingham. The other side is on the diagonal. So I'm going to do it on the standard gingham, which is just rectangles. And looks like I've got a little clog in my adhesive. There we go, should be better. And this is going to be flat adhered, and I'm going to abut it right up to the edge of the lower flap, and I'm going to have about 1/8 of an inch border on left and right. All right, so that's done. Then I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive behind the larger DSP, and the color I chose kind of Halloweenish. It's the black and basic gray. But again, this paper pack has lots of great colors for fall and Christmas. And again, I'm going to have about 1/8 of an inch border on left and right, and about probably a 1/16 at top and bottom. So there's my front card base. The next thing I'm going to do is bring in the center panel. And on this one, I'm going to fold back on the 1/2 inch tab, and then forward on the 2-inch tab. So it kind of looks like a Z fold. So we've got the 1/2 inch and the 2-inch, and we're going to decorate this with the DSP right through here. All right. And so this is a fun Halloween color, this Parakeet Party. It's an in color that took a little bit of time to grow on me because it wasn't my immediate favorite. But what do you think? I think it's a pretty cool green, don't you? It's nice and bright, and you're going to see it come up also on our focal point image. And I'm going to put the smaller one now, which measures 3 by 1 7/8. And it goes on the front of that pocket. So in essence, here I'm going to share that with you again. So we've got a Z fold going on, and I'm going to twist it upright. This is going to be the pocket for the treat or gift card. And so we want something on the front of the pocket, and that gets adhered down just like so. All right, so now we've got our sliding pocket. We have our card base. We're going to marry these together. So I'm going to open up the card, open this flap. I am going to put some adhesive on that 1/2 inch tab. And again, I am going to put, you could use tear and tape. This liquid adhesive is a nice, firm, aggressive adhesive. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to flip that over so the pattern paper, the front side is going to face down. My tab, when I unfold it, it's going to abut right to the score line, that 4-inch score line here. And I'm going to put it on the vertical center and press down firmly. Okay, so here's what we've got. See that? This is the score line. Here's the end of the inside flap. And once we flip it over, there we go, that's the inside panel. It's going to make your treat slide up when the card is open. So watch this. When it's closed, it slides down. When you open it up, it's going to slide up. How cool is that? So fun. And so you could put the treat there, or you could put the gift card. We need to secure the pocket, so I'll do that next. And because this is a pocket, we're only going to put adhesive at the top. And I put it right along the edge. And then at the bottom, right along the edge as well. And we need to secure that closed. We want to leave the adhesive off the long side because that's where you slip in the treat. So I'm just going to apply a little bit of pressure. And then next we're going to create the outside pocket. So we've got the card open. I've got that 2-inch flap. And again, I'm going to put adhesive at the top. Once you see it, once you do it once, it all makes sense. At first, it might be a little bit confusing, but once you see it in action, and after your first one, it's all, the light's gonna go on for you. It's all gonna make sense. Slides so easily. Okay, so we have actually 2 pockets. We've got the pocket where our treat slides in, and then we have the pocket where the sliding mechanism slides in. And this is gonna be a vertical orientation. So just like so. All right, there is our card base. Let's get to the decorating, right? I'm going to push that aside a little bit. I'm going to bring in my scalloped rectangle, basic white, and I'm going to be stamping on that. And I've chosen that cute little girl. Right now you can see she has a little birdie in her hand, but because I'm making this Halloween theme, I'm going to mask off the bird, and I'm going to add the spider instead for her to hold. Okay, so I'm going to flip this over, and I can see where I'm inking up. And it's okay if I ink up a little bit of the bird. So I'm inking with the Tuxedo Black. I'm going to get a little Post-it note piece and cover up the bird, just like so. So not so difficult. It's easy masking. And I'm going to ink down onto my basic white. And I think I'm at about 1/2 inch from the stitching on the die. I'm going to press down firmly. There you go. So you have the little girl. And next I'm going to put that spider in her hand. So again, I'm inking up in Tuxedo Black, and I'm just going to bring the spider in, and that little leg is going to pretty much touch her hair, and it'll be resting like it's creeping into her hand. See what I mean? Pretty easy. So there's that. Then I'm going to add a couple more friends here. I am going to put one up at the top, almost directly above her left eye. And then I'm going to put one off to the side. There we go. All right, then, since I have my ink pad out, I'm going to go ahead and ink up my sentiment. And I'm taking my sentiment from the By My Side. I love this one, this little sentiment here. It says, "Life is better with friends like you." So I'm telling you, friends, these are the kinds of cards that you want to send out, and be free and liberal with them. Don't hang on to them. You need to get them in the mail and send them to the friends that you appreciate, because it's great to get a nice little surprise in the mail like that. All right, so I'm inking up still in Tuxedo Black, and I'm inking up on that scrap of Parakeet Party. And I'm going to be trimming it, so it doesn't really matter if it's perfect. Okay, so I'm happy with that. And the other thing I'm going to ink up, since I've got my ink pad out and at the ready, is my, actually 2 things. I've got my small label, which is about 1/2 inch wide. And on this, I am going to stamp Happy Halloween. And I have to say, I am borrowing the Happy Halloween from my paper pumpkin this month. If you're like me, you've noticed lots of times we don't have just a standard happy holiday or happy Thanksgiving or happy Halloween sentiment in our standard choices like the main catalog and the mini catalogs. Paper Pumpkin is a great resource for lots of extra greetings. So I love that in last month's Paper Pumpkin we got a Happy Halloween greeting, which is perfect. It's like wide and narrow. And there you go. Fits perfectly on that stitched label. And one last greeting that also comes from the By My Side. It says, thinking of you today. And I think that's a nice little sentiment for Halloween or any day. And I'm gonna ink up again. This goes on the stitched rectangle towards the top. And there you go. And then I'm gonna add one little friend, that spider. He's gonna be hanging from the today. There we go. All right, so I think I have most of my stamping. I just need to do one more piece on my scrap. I'm gonna put this aside, trying not to lose any of this. I know it's always hard. That's my challenge, is not losing the pieces. So I've got my basic white scrap. I am going to take the hat from Bewitching, and by the way, that's where the little spider comes from. I'm gonna take my hat, and I'm inking up in black. I'm gonna be nice and generous so I get a nice dark hat. And no fussy cutting in this project, on this project, which I think it's gonna be welcomed. Lots of times I do projects with fussy cutting, and if I'm in a club or in a class, I always have someone who expresses their dissatisfaction with having to fussy cut. I know, sometimes it's a little bit challenging. Okay, so I am going to color in the hat band. I'm going to use pumpkin pie, and I'm going to use the brush tip, or sorry, the pen tip. My brush tips tend to dry out. I don't know if you have the same issue. Maybe not, because my blends get used a lot and they get abused, and so the brush tip tends to dry out while the pen tip is always ready to go. So I'm doing the band, the stripes, and pumpkin pie, and then I'm going to bring in dark smoky slate. Trisha. You are absolutely right. Fussy cutting is very challenging for many. I'm not just going to say for some, for many. I think it's the exception. I do have stampers that like to fussy cut, maybe because it's kind of soothing and calming. And yet some people find it a little bit stressful. So two camps, right? And luckily on this project, there is no fussy cutting. All right, so I've got a little buckle going on that cute little witchy hat. And that was dark smoky slate, and no fussy cutting. Remember, we've got a punch. So just slide that punch in. You can see, and I like to do it upside down. Usually I have a slightly larger piece of cardstock. So if you cut your cardstock too small and you can't really hold on to it, here's what I like to do. Just get a Post-it note, create a little arm, slide it right in. Now you can hold on to the Post-it note. There you go. So yeah, sometimes it's not good to cut too small. There we go. We get lots of extras. We get the stars and we get the hat band. We're not using those today. We just want the hat. So there's that. And while I have the hat, I'm going to share with you how I created the little veil. It's like a little witch's hat veil. I am going to take a small snipping of the, let's see, metallic mesh ribbon. So I'm going to cut a small amount, use my ribbon scissors, And so by small amounts, probably like between 2 and 3 inches. And I'm just going to cut straight across. Then I'm going to bring in my silicone mat. Get my hat. Almost lost it, right? There we go. What? It is, you need the right scissors though. Absolutely, Debbie, you are absolutely right. I've watched people struggle with the wrong scissors. And Stampin' Up! Has the paper snips, which are perfect if you have a set for your ribbon, and then you have a set for your cardstock. And don't cross over. If you keep them straight, they're going to be nice and sharp all the time. So I've got this little piece of mesh. This is going to be the veil for the witch's hat, and you just need a little snipping. I'm going to take a little bit of adhesive, put it on the back of the hat, and we're just going to kind of bring that down, and we just want a little bit of a veil. Kind of fun. She's not a scary witch, she's a cute witch, so there we go. That's my witch's hat with the veil. Yeah, it's pretty fun. I like it. I like it, right? Okay, so then let me bring back in. I'm going to set that aside. Now we're getting all the pieces together. What I need to do is color my little trick-or-treater friend, and I'm going to start off with her skin tone, and for the skin I'm using 2 different colors. I'm using light pale papaya and dark petal pink. Thanks, Debbie. I think the witch's hat came out pretty cute with the veil. I like it too. All right, so I'm going to start off with the light pale papaya. That's going to be her overall skin tone, and I am doing her face, all of her face, right up to her hairline. And then I'm going to do her little hands. And I'm going to bring in the dark petal pink and going to give her a little bit of cheek color. And then kind of outline her head, her jaw, and a little bit around her hair. So pretty simple coloring. The blends make it so easy, right? Okay, so because she's dressed up for Halloween, we're gonna give her purple hair because that's what girls like, right? Either purple hair or green hair. And I'm gonna start off with the light Highland Heather blend and color in her hair. So cute. So the Halloween colors are pulled from one of the accessories I'm going to be using. I'm just brushing on color. It's pretty simple. And honestly, a lot of it's going to be hidden by her super oversized hat. So no worries on doing too much detail. So I'm starting with the light Highland Heather, and then I'm going to use the dark and come in like on the tips and on the blending areas. So a little bit on her bangs. So super simple. And just to blend that in a little bit, I'll bring back the light Highland Heather. Blend in that dark. All right, so there is the start of our little girl. Now she's got on those cool big round eyeglasses, and I'm going to use Parakeet Party. I'm going to start with the light Parakeet Party and do the overall lens. So witches have dark glasses, right? So she's got some green lenses, and I'm going to bring in the dark Parakeet Party and just a little bit around the edges here, just for some shading. Same on the other lens. So here's how she's looking so far. Pretty cute, right? Okay, so then she has on her witchy dress. So I'm going to start off with, let's see, dark smoky slate. That's the color for her overall dress. And I'm using the pen tip because the little arms are very small. And just coming in. And let's see. Here we go. With the brush tip, I'm going to come in and do the rest. And I like the gray as opposed to or the smoky slate as opposed to the black, because the black kind of washed out the pattern in her dress. But we do need a little bit of black shading right in through here. Just in the sides and corners, maybe under her head. And we're going to be blending it in anyway, so there we go. Just like so. We're going to blend that in with the smoky slate. And then I'm going to put some smoky slate tights on her. Right? And, oh dear, I needed my light smoky slate. I don't see it on my tabletop. Here we go. Let's use this. This is light smoky slate. I'm just going to do a little bit of grounding for her. So I'm just going to do a little bit of squiggling where her feet are. And there we go. So mostly she's done. Now let's put her hat on. Let's see. Okay, so here's her cute little hat. Her hat is going to be put on with dimensionals. So I'm going to flip that over and grab a couple of dimensionals. There we go. I'm going to try and step on that veil with some of the dimensionals. Kind of holds it in place a little bit better. Up at the top, there we go. So her hat. And love the huge witch's hat on her. I'm going to put that down. Oops, her Spidey's a little bit. Let's see if I can pull it over just a little bit. There we go. So there's our focal point. What do you think? Such a cutie. Yeah. Okay, so then we're going to bring in our sentiment, and I'm going to chop this up. It's a little bit too big for my liking. Bring in the chopper, trim this down. And flip that over, and it's going to come out to be, I don't know, like 3/4 of an inch maybe. So 3/4 of an inch. We are going to use a little bit of adhesive to secure that down. And we're also going to use some of my cool embellishments here. So this is going to go here, and this is going to be on flat. And what I like to do is kind of note like which scallop I can put adhesive down to, because I don't want to have any adhesive behind the lower portion of the focal point. So if I stop, I'm just going to push that up a little bit. Let's see if I can do some pencil marking if I have a pencil around here. Right through here. All right, I'm only going to apply adhesive to that line because I don't want any stickiness exposed. This goes on the front of the project right here. Right there. Yeah. She's looking pretty cute, I think. All right, then I can go ahead and add my sentiment now. I'm going to put it right around there. I want to see her foot. And let's see if I can trim it down just a tiny bit. Bring in my scissors. What I'm looking is to have this aligned with the edge here, but I want that to clear. So let me see if I can bring off just a tiny little sliver. I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive there. There we go. Putting that there. Right there. All right, almost there. It's kind of crooked. When I pull up, watch. There is our sliding gift card holder, and the gift card slides right in there. We're going to put our little sentiment that says Happy Halloween right here on the outside pocket. And this is first going to go on with a little bit of flat adhesive. And I'm just going to kind of center it about 1/4 inch down. Then, and this is strictly optional, this little rectangle here, I like to put it over top of the scallop rectangle, only because if you have this exposed, you can kind of see through where the blends seep through. So if we cover that up, the stitched rectangle is the perfect size. You've got your little sentiment there, a little friend, and then you can write your note and sign your gift card. So right like this, and it's flat adhesive right there. So if you're going to present it in person, you can put the little sweet treat. If you're going to send it off, I would add a card instead. That way you keep it flat. So there's the inside of our card. We're not done yet though. There's the outside. Then to embellish, this is the fun part. I am using the glitter washi tape. I love the colors. They're perfect for Halloween, and I'm going to use a couple different ones. I'm going to use the pumpkin pie, and even though I've already secured that down, it's kind of fun to have just a little swatch of washi tape on here, like you've taped it on. And cool thing, you can just tear, you don't have to cut. And then I'm going to also use the black. I love the black, the sparkle. So instead of using rhinestones or anything in the project, we're using the glitter washi. And I'm going to do this one, I'm going to do a little bit shorter, like so. There we go. And so now we have a couple of sparkly things. We've got her veil that sparkles, and we have the washi tape. When I open it up, we're going to go ahead and add some washi tape to that Happy Halloween as well. So even though we've already secured it with glue, I think the fun glitter adds another dimension to it. And just like so. And you could use any color. They all the colors kind of flow with this particular card. So there we go. There's our gift card holder. So you can use the gift of a gift card, or you could use the gift of a little sweet treat, flat right inside, like so. So cute for the kids, for the grandkids, for the daughters, the sons. Put that in the mail for a friend. Really fun. All right, so there is the Life is Better with Friends Like You version. I wanted to share with you also, if you're not doing Halloween cards, it's also a great template for a harvest card or anytime card. Here's my sample from my tutorial. Wishing you everything wonderful. So I have, I should have written my my stamp set. Let's see, I can't remember the name of this stamp set. The Nature's, maybe you can help me out. Nature's, cannot remember. All right, but I've got lots of different elements going on this card. Wishing you everything wonderful because you totally deserve it. So yes, Debbie, I think Emily and Ari are going to love it. I'm going to be sending one off to Selena because I think right now she actually has the purple hair going on. I'm not sure. Every time I see her, it's a different color. So fun that you could go ahead and put your little costume girl in different hair colors, do different things with her dress. Really, really fun. So there you have it. The sliding gift card holder. It is in this month's Fun Folds tutorial. If you want yours free, you can get it either way. Place an order with me this month and you'll receive the sliding card holder. Or if you're a member of my team, it will be posted for our group to follow all the instructions and create. No, Debbie, I am not making them. Now you know how to make them, and you can make as many as you like for all your friends and grandkids. All right, if you have any questions, please comment. If you want to catch the replay, I hope to load it over to the YouTube site today or tomorrow, or you can catch it here. The advantage of the YouTube is that I usually cut out the chatter and try and get you in and out to create quickly. All right. Thanks so much for joining me. Join me again next week for happy hour, same time. And I appreciate you clicking by. All right. I'll see you soon. Thanks.